Hello, my name's Lace. Welcome now, everybody, to my Walking Dead Season 7, Season 8 review. And the reason why I'm doing this, everybody, because The Walking Dead is officially returning for Season 9, October 5th or 7th. I'm not really sure when it's going to officially coming back. But the thing is, though, I'm making this video because I want to say what is the worst Walking Dead season. And it's always been debated now, lately, which one's worse, Season 7 or Season 8. Right now, this video is just going to say my reasons why I believe Season 8 was worse than Season 7. So, basically, I'm going to give like a detailed analysis of each of the seasons from Season 7 to Season 8. So, let's start out with Season 7, everybody. Now, Walking Dead Season 7 started off, everybody, how Season 6 ended. We didn't know who Negan chose to kill at the end. We found out who. It was Glenn and Abraham, but may they both rest in peace. And at this moment in Season 7, at the beginning, and the first half of Season 7, we see our characters at their lowest. They have been defeated, they have been humiliated, they have been disgraced, they lost people that they loved. And it's only normal for any season to lose such characters to go through such a depressing stage. And that was Walking Dead Season 7 in a nutshell. It was very depressing. It's like we had to go through the sad times of like a funeral, and we just waiting for things to get better. I mean, we're waiting for our characters to come back and be the good old characters that they are, but they're never going to be the same. And Season 7 was really just a very straight up depressing season because it all started off with the death of both Abraham and Glenn. Now that they're both dead and Negan's running around town, we see our characters are lowest. As Negan says, he shoves his dick in Rick's mouth and Rick's thanking him for it. It's that simple. The Walking Dead Season 7 is just a very depressing season. The first half is just really, Season 7 is just about them being on their knees and being let the Saviors do whatever they want, and then you slowly see the resistance in them to rise up and to be against Negan and his faction. Now, everybody, is there's one thing we call agree upon is that Walking Dead Season 7 did a lot of world building. Besides Alexandria and the Saviors, we also were introduced into Ezekiel the Kingdom, Ezekiel, the man with the tiger who speaks in Shakespeare, who's just a guy who pretending to be another guy. And I just really find Ezekiel and the Kingdom a very interesting place and interesting characters. They also know the Saviors. They provide for them. They help get them food as well. We also have the interesting side of the Ocean side, which is a group of women survivors who basically fought against the Saviors, lost to them, and now they're running and hiding. We get their side. We get this nice, interesting garbage people who speak in a very different tone of voice, and they're also a part of this world too, this apocalyptic world. We also had Maggie for the Hilltop with her character progression of her taking over for the Hilltop and rising for a stand in Negan against Negan and the Saviors, and also we get to see the Saviors of how they operate. We get to see all their lieutenants. We got Dwight, we got Simon, we got I'm blanking. I'm blanking out. I'm blanking out about one other character's name. He was always with Ezekiel in the Kingdom. But all these characters in Negan's compound, all his lieutenants, they are very all interesting. They're all very interesting characters, and their way of life is very interesting as well. So what Walking Dead Season 7 did is did a lot of world building, and I think it did a great job before that. I love what they did with the Hilltop, the Kingdom, with the Saviors and their compound with the Ocean side, the Junkyard people. They did a lot of great world building for this entire season, and I really do appreciate Walking Dead Season 7 for that. Another thing that was great about Walking Dead Season 7 was also about Carol and Morgan, how they're debating whether or not they should kill or not. If they kill so much, can they stop? Can they be the same person? Are they going to be a broken individual? And in the end, it doesn't matter because they have to go back to fight the war because in order to save more good people. I love the inner conflict with our characters of whether or not this is the right stance to go to war. And slowly we start to see the rise of our characters slowly start to come back up and to fight against the Saviors. We see Daryl, we see Maggie, we see Rick. We see all the communities that band together except for the Garbage People and Oceanside. We see the Kingdom banding together along with Hilltop and Alexandria. The Resistance is on, the Revolution is on, the War is on. And then we came to Walking Dead Season 8. Now, the beginning of Walking Dead Season 8 started off very, very good. It really showed our characters who basically went to all-out war with Negan and the Saviors, and they actually had a pretty dang good plan. They trapped the Saviors inside their compound, and during that time, while Negan was surrounded by walkers that they lured into, Rick and his group slowly start to pick out the different compounds and different outposts that the Negans and the Saviors have. And during this time, we get a lot of shots of where our characters question or whether or not, even though how any soldier react in war, are we the good guys? And even though it's just war, I mean, they really are in conflict. There's a great moment where Rick kills a guy from entering, kills a guy because Rick was trying to get into this room, and Rick thought it was the ammo supply. In reality, it was a little kid that this guy was trying to protect, and Rick killed him. So Rick questions himself whether or not he's a good person, and everyone questions themselves. Daryl breaks his rules. He kills the guy when he said he was going to show him mercy. In All Out War, it's all out war. There's no mercy. And we see Morgan. We see Jesus going conflict. Morgan wants to kill everybody. Jesus doesn't want to kill everybody. Maggie is in between. And all our characters really suffer throughout that. And it's very interesting to see where all our characters end up until they make some unrealistic points. What made The Walking Dead what made Walking Dead great, it had a realistic approach to an apocalyptic world. There are certain scenes that just really bug me and just dragged on. Rick goes back to the garbage people for some odd reason. He goes back to the garbage people. That was okay. But we wasted an entire episode just with the garbage people of Rick trying to get him on their side, and lo and behold, they abandon him immediately afterwards. It's idiotic and stupid. Why is it like that? Another thing, Maggie is on the road, and the Saviors, for some odd reason, still have the numbers on Rick and his group. They still have a lot of ammunition for some odd freaking reason, other than Eugene. They apparently had enough ammo to go through a lot of walkers. They had enough ammo and men left over to take out Rick's snipers that were watching over the compound and immediately shoot them afterwards. And Simon let Maggie go when they could just took the leader right then and there. They were all surrounded by cars and they did nothing. Illogical decisions of our characters makes no sense, and because of this, we got the most saddest moments of the entire series. And before I start to rant more about The Walking Dead Season 8, and especially that big death in the middle of the season, let me start off with some other good stuff about this entire season. I love Ezekiel's storyline. A king who, with his soldiers believes that not one of his numbers shall fall. Fake it till you make it, baby, until he can't make it anymore. He loses nearly all his people. There is no more warriors. It's just him, and I'm blanking on just him and Jesse right now, and Carol. There is no more warriors for the kingdom. They all died, and it's all over for Ezekiel. He doesn't have his strength. He doesn't have his people. He feels like he's a failure. I love Ezekiel's storyline throughout this entire season, and I love what they did with his character, and it's just a very interesting character moment for Ezekiel. And when he loses his tiger, oh my gosh, evil! But it's still such a great moment for that character, Ezekiel. I love what they did with Ezekiel's character this season, and I also will be talking about a really great character for this season as well, and that will be Simon. Now, Simon in Season 8 really stole the show for me. I really start to like Simon. I think I even liked him more than Negan in some cases. Simon was such an interesting character. He was tired of giving Rick and the group second chances. He was tired of Negan always giving people second chances. And he basically eliminates the garbage people, the junkyard people. Simon does not care. He is ruthless. He does not care for any of this stuff. He doesn't believe in the whole saving. And his idea of saving is we get people to do what the hell we want, and if they don't do it, then we're just going to kill them. Negan doesn't believe in that. Negan's a full believer of what he does, that he is saving people. And I love the character interaction between Simon and Negan, how Simon is afraid of Negan, and how Negan is just so pissed off at Simon. I love both actors. I love what they did with these characters, and I love it to see the conflict between the Saviors and the Saviors compound. And the lieutenants of the Savior compound really did great. Dwight was struggling to keep his being a rat and all this stuff, being undercover until he's eventually found out. I really do enjoy Dwight's arc in this entire season also, and him and Daryl forgiving Dwight and to basically find so Dwight could go find the girl he loves and to never come back. I like the Dwight's arc this season. I like a lot of the side characters of the Saviors. I really do enjoy them. But sad to say, I enjoy the Savior characters more than I did our characters, and that's a damn shame. Now we must talk about the most saddest moment and to why I believe this season failed. The death of Carl and a midway point of freaking season 8. The death of Carl ruined this season for me in many cases, not because he was the right character killed off, because it made the season way too predictable. We knew our characters were going to grieve. We knew we were going to miss Carl. We saw Carl say his goodbye to Judith. It was very sad, and we knew everyone was going to grieve. Rick was going to grieve. Daryl was going to grieve. Every single character was grieving, including Negan. And we all knew that Negan says he's going to kill Rick, and Rick says he's going to kill Negan. And we all know that they're going to spare each other. And they eventually do, in many cases. I mean, Negan still wants to kill Rick, but eventually Rick decides to spare Negan after cutting his throat, and now it's a now prosperous land. I mean, the entire 8 episodes you just need to skip and just watch the end. You don't need to really see the goodbyes, people crying, people having a tough decision like Eugene, whether or not he's gonna go with the group again. Of course, he went with the group again. We don't need to see. If anything, you could put up a clip. I could put up a clip of just Rick reading the letters to Carl, and Negan struggling with Carl's death. You could literally sum it down onto in one episode. You could really just see. If I could put it down, it could be like 45 minutes of what you need to see. You don't really need to see the junkyard people getting eliminated by Simon, even though it's very fucking interesting. But it's so predictable. What kept the season alive was, to me, Simon. Yes, I prefer Simon above this. He was the MVP of Season 8. And him and his Negan relationship was awesome. But other than that, Season 8 drew a terrible, predictable season, and I could not stand the rest of the second half. I love the first half of Walking Dead Season 8, but the second half was just way too damn predictable. We all knew our characters were going to be in this situation after Carl's death. We knew Negan was going to be spared. We knew some saviors were going to live, some saviors were going to die, and the war was going to be all put over. I honestly don't care for the Walking Dead Season 8, for the war storyline. I never really cared for the war storyline in the comics. I didn't care for it now because it was really predictable. Unless they killed off Rick or Michonne, I wouldn't have found this. And having Carl's death is not... Okay, it was a big shocker. I kind of wanted to have him more for the future comic books. But if not that, I still have high hopes for Judith, for her character to be a time jump of Rick starting over. But right now, for The Walking Dead Season 7, Season 8, which one's the worst season to me? It's going to be Season 8. Season 8 was, to me, a very predictable season after Carl's death. We didn't really need to see it no more. And because of that, this season, to me, is like a B minus season. I could really not watch the season. I couldn't care for season... I like Season 7, but the thing is, well, Season 7 is so dang depressing. It's just very hard to watch. It's like watching a freaking Holocaust movie. You liked it. You think it was good, but it's just too much. It's just too much. And to me, Walking Dead Season 7 and Season 8 are back-to-back like the worst seasons of The Walking Dead. But I prefer Season 7 over Season 8 because Season 8 ruined... well, I don't want to say ruined, but it made Walking Dead very predictable for its second half. And the future season that's come out, Season 9, I really hope they do a great job. But to me, Walking Dead Season 8 is the worst season of The Walking Dead. But that's my own personal opinion, everybody. Subscribe if you like. Discord down bottom. Link comment down below. Let me know. Respect my opinion. Respect yours. What is your own personal opinion, everybody, about The Walking Dead Season 7 to Season 8? Which one is your worst season? Season 7 or Season 8? Just let me know, everybody. My name's Lee, signing off for everybody. Bye-bye.